Now on CoastTV News.
Changes to senior living.
It wasn't a move I would have chosen.
What one complex wants to do in Lewis.
Short-term rentals in Ocean City.
We can protect our owners.
Ocean City Council takes a step back.
Rehoboth Beach parking.
Everything's getting more expensive.
Why there may be some relief for summer drivers.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Seniors looking on at County Council as the future of their development is discussed. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. Our top story tonight, plans to expand senior living coming at the cost of 8 families.
The Moorings development is a retirement community on Gills Neck Road that has cottages and apartments. The community wants to expand by building over 60 new units, but in order to do that, 8 homes must be demolished first. CoastTV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live there in Lewis. Brandon, the plans are causing debate in the neighborhood.
Maddie, of the people who spoke in Georgetown at today's public hearing, 3 people spoke for the expansion of this development and 4 people spoke against the expansion of this development. Today, we spoke to someone that used to live in a cottage home in this development, but in wake of these plans, is now in a new apartment. Sherry Chappelle has lived in the Mooring community for over 6 years. She was previously in a cottage home.
It wasn't a move I would have chosen, but I'm basically happy with it.
Although Chappelle is happy now in her new unit, when she first learned of these plans, it was quite the opposite.
My first reaction was, oh no, because for me, that cottage was intended to be my last move.
Right now, the Moorings community has 212 units. Plans call for 64 more units. The Moorings say they have a 12 to 18 month wait list for people who want to live here and say this expansion will provide much needed senior housing.
I'm happy. There were some definite advantages for me personally for the move.
A community representative says the Moorings community are covering all moving expenses during this process and that 5 of the 8 families in the cottage homes have already fully moved out. Sussex County Council deferred a decision today and chose to keep the public record open for 5 more business days. Live in Lewis, Brandon Ferguson, CoastTV News.
There's a petition in support of that expansion. It has over 40 signatures of people that live in the Moorings development. Again, that's off Gills Neck Road in Lewis.
Short-term rentals in these areas have been controversial and have led to a handful of proposed regulations by the council. Today, the town discussed 2 of them. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappe is live in Ocean City. Kevin, there were hours of debate over proposed restrictions.
Charlie, after hours of discussion, the council ultimately decided to do nothing, so rentals will stay as they are for now. The town was considering capping short-term rental licenses at 10% in residential areas and mobile home communities, but that was shot down. Another idea would have required rental properties to post signs in their yards. That also was struck down. Council members said they couldn't come to a clean decision and was struggling, so they are pressing pause. The mayor voiced his displeasure with this inaction, saying he thinks it's a mistake that Ocean City is not going to change anything. One idea that was floated for future discussion was having a stricter zero-tolerance policy for rentals who break rules. One Ocean City realtor says enforcing the rules already in place is the best approach.
We can protect our owners, our guests, and the people that want to be landlords. We can protect all those rights under the given rules that we have now.
Now, according to the Ocean City manager, since these 2 ordinances were essentially shot down today, it won't be back up for discussion unless the council president asks for it. I'm Kevin Zappe, live in Ocean City, CoastTV News.
We are continuing our coverage on the resignation of Ocean City Council member Tony DeLuca on Sunday. His resignation caps off a turbulent week at City Hall. This comes after a special meeting last week where council members discussed questions about whether DeLuca met the town's requirements of living in town, but a motion to remove him never advanced. Now, With his seat vacant, town leaders say the next step is a special election to fill it.
The town has a board of elections. That board needs to meet and determine when they will be able to hold the special election. Once that date is determined, then everything sort of goes back from there.
The resignation was formally announced today by President Matt James at the council's open work session. Town leaders will now have to set the process in motion, including key dates and how voters will choose a replacement.
Parking in Rehoboth is always a hot topic, and now commissioners are changing prices, but not a hike. Coast TV News reporter Elisa Weber shows us the city commissioners are thinking about lowering prices during some less busy weekdays and keeping a normal price during the busiest times.
In a couple of months, parking meters will be uncovered and it will be hard to find an open space in the nation's summer capital. From May 15th to September 15th, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 10 p.m., it is $4 an hour to park. At Monday's city budget meeting, the idea of lowering the price during less busy days of the week, also known as congestion pricing, was brought up.
Everything's getting more expensive. It'd be nice to get a break on something like parking, which actually helps the local merchants and the economy of the area.
Christine Moore lives in Rehoboth Beach and says she will only walk to downtown in the summer or she won't go at all.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who live in Lewis and Millsboro and Milton, and they just don't come here in the summer. You have to go early in the morning or else you can't, and even going to church. We have a lot of people who don't come down to church anymore.
At that meeting, Assistant City Manager Evan Miller said they do have the means to configure the system. It just takes time to set up the programming. At Monday's meeting, Commissioner Thayer said he does not think it's realistic for the city to change the schedule of the parking fees for the 2026 summer season. He said over the next year, the city should look at a study to be done to see if congestion pricing actually will be beneficial. For Coast TV News, I'm Elisa Weber.
And parking revenue in Rehoboth Beach, it actually dropped pretty significantly during fiscal year 2026. It fell nearly $1 million short of the city's projected budget. Rehoboth said parking revenue came in at $10.1 million.
This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what is the biggest parking problem in Rehoboth?
Let's take a look at the results. 41% say the high cost, 57% say limited spaces, 1% say enforcement issues, 1% say meter confusion.
And we do have a comment from Chris and Milton saying they need a parking garage.
If you haven't voted yet, you can still do that, coasttv.com or our mobile app, and we'll show you updated results at 11. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Rehoboth Beach, or what we can see of it. Our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams has a look at our weather.
Well, right now we have mainly clear skies actually in Milford right now, but we are a bit on the cool side. We're at 38 degrees. But listen, this is finally an opportunity to kind of just rest in some normalcy of the forecast and the weather conditions, because, hey, we're going to drop down to 38 degrees, but that's normal for this time of the year. None of this negative 20 degrees below zero stuff. How about we take a break from that? But we are going to see the winds pick back up momentum, particularly going to Wednesday. We look at, right now we have a small craft advisory active for Slaughter Beach, Broadkill Beach, as well as Lewis. Now this reaches around the corner, so to speak. That includes Rehoboth Beach, others down from Herring Landing, Ocean View down towards Fenwick Island, bracing for about 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And mainly with the winds coming out of the northwest, this is going to be one of those not so comfortable winds as we begin to be concerned about a little bit cooler weather as we go into the end of the work week.
Wicomico leaders are exploring all options to keep newly approved agreements with ICE intact. For starters, County Executive Julie Giordano is asking Maryland Governor Wes Moore to veto legislation that would ban the agreements statewide. Now, the governor has said he plans to sign the bill into law, and that could happen as early as this week. At a press conference, Giordano called the efforts in Annapolis short-sighted and says this bill will not make Maryland safer.
Entering into the 287G agreement changes that reality. It gives us lawful, controlled, and a responsible way to work with federal authorities to ensure that those individuals that pose serious threats are properly identified and vetted while they are already in our custody.
In a statement, Governor Moore says his administration is focused on public safety, but he went on to say that does not mean, quote, deputizing the people who are keeping people safe to go perform functions by a rogue ICE agency.
We have a lot more news to get to this evening.
In sports, the best player on Seaford boys basketball should hit a milestone tonight. DSN sets the stage for this monumental achievement.
No more highs and lows for at least Wednesday before we start being concerned about another round of impressive Arctic air.
But first, a multicultural club for kids building bridges in Milford and beyond. How the club got its start more than a decade ago when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
The Culture Club PR is a multicultural club for kids based in Milford. Coast TV's Ana Sofia Roman shows us who's behind it and what the mission is.
Neida Albarran, raised in Puerto Rico since she was very young, is the founder and director of the Culture Club PR. She started it 12 years ago on the island.
Puerto Rico is a very small island, but so many people from around the world come, and I just wanted kids to be able to appreciate their traditions, their cultures, be able to greet them in their language, and just know a little bit more about the great big world, beautiful world that's out there that they might not be able to see yet, but hopefully sparking that cultural curiosity will make them try to reach out and get out there.
The Culture Club PR has reached different towns and cities in Delaware, mostly in the South, with workshops on different cultures of the world.
We promote a culture of peace through multicultural learning, experiences, and celebrations. We do it through games, music, crafts especially, literacy.
For Albarran, it is a great satisfaction to be part of the development of children.
I believe it starts with the kids, so I invest as much as I can in instilling the value of unity, togetherness, hope, and the beauty of diversity into these children, whatever way I can.
An immersive experience for the little ones in our area. For the Ties That Bind Us, I'm Ana Sofia Roman.
Well, on Wednesday, the winds are about to wake up and coming out of the northwest. Not so comfortable, but at least the temperatures are going to raise the ante enough so it's at least to the norm for this time of the year. Ocean View holding at 38 degrees. Dew point temperature only 10 degrees away, and the winds are calm right now, primarily pushing out of the north. Now, that's not been the norm. Most of the winds have been coming out of the south, generally speaking, but we're starting to see the shift already happen. Now, we will stay pretty steady at about 38 degrees, specifically in Ocean View, with increasing cloud cover. Now, what has begun to change a little bit is the intensity or the velocity of the winds. A small craft advisory has now been initiated for really the Atlantic side of the Delmarva Peninsula, from, let's say, all the way as far north as you can go on this side, all the way down to just stopping short of Ocean City. Now, we also have that same concern for 25-mile-per-hour winds throughout the Chesapeake Bay area, and that includes the folks that view us in Crisfield and in the Cambridge area. But the winds are not going to be such an albatross in that they're not going to be so strong initially. The temperatures are going to be close to the norm, so it'll kind of balance itself out. Overnight lows will be in the 40s. That's pretty close to the norm. Now, we'll start off cloudy for Wednesday morning with temperatures in the upper 30s. You saw a flash of green there. We may have a passing sprinkle, but it's just going to be regular old-fashioned boring rain. No ice, no snow, no sleet or anything like that. You go up towards Philly, yeah, it'll get a little interesting there. Now, for Thursday mid-morning, we see the winds coming out of the northwest here, and we're going to be near freezing by mid-morning, but then we'll go above freezing for the rest of the afternoon. So that gets us above that threshold of great concern. The winds are going to act up, though. I mean, you know, by mid-morning, we're looking at 29 to near 30-mile-per-hour winds out of the northwest, and then we sashay our way to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it picks up momentum up to like 33-mile-per-hour winds. And Thursday, well, that's when it really becomes a little more aggressive, so to speak, near 40-mile-per-hour winds, but still steadily out of the northwest. And that's going to actually turn those temperatures down a bit for us. And the temperatures, that's been the big story, because as you take a look at what we've been tracking, we have all blues right now. And with this map, in case it's the first time you're viewing us, every time you see blue, that indicates that this is below the norm for this time of the year. And the darker the blue, the colder the day. And you can see we've been singing the blues quite a while for the last few days in a row. And then Friday morning, I'm singing the blues like B.B. King, because look at this. We're talking about 13, 14 degrees. Ugh, the chill is not gone, okay? And then we go into Saturday. We're looking at temperatures in the 20s. And then we are watching out for a chance of rain sneaking in on Sunday. Now, I have a dear friend who has plans outside on Sunday, so I'm going to tell her this specifically, okay? Here we go. This is where we're at 1:30, and then the rain begins to pull out of the way quickly following that. So at least we can hold off till the afternoon, evening. All right, tonight, 33, 45 for tomorrow, 37, getting cooler again on Thursday. Finally, here's a look at your extended forecast.
Thank you, Paul. Alan Corman, a pillar of the agricultural and aviation community, passed away Monday, according to his son, Jeff. According to Jeff Corman, Alan died after a long battle with congestive heart failure and pulmonary hypertension. In 1956, Corman began working for Joe Hudson at what is now Eagle Crest Airport in Milton. Over his career, Corman flew 40 seasons as an agricultural pilot, logging more than 30,000 accident-free flight hours. The family is planning a ceremony for February 28th. The Olympics are only airing here on Coast TV, so let's take a look at the medal count so far. Norway is leading with 12, Italy 11, USA not even in third, but we do have 7 medals total, including 2 gold.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Seaford boys basketball senior Vince Evans can make history tonight when his Blue Jays tip off at Woodbridge around 6:30. The 20-point-per-game scorer is on the verge of 1,000 for his career, and you can watch Evans hit the milestone live on DSN. Who thought it would be this game against the Blue Raiders? All it took from Vince on Friday against Cambridge South Dorchester was a 38-point performance to get him just 8 points away from the 1,000-point mark tonight against Woodbridge. It has been a fantastic season, not only for Vince, but for his teammate and cousin, Azion Matthews. Coach Evans telling us that these two know how to push each other.
Him and Azon Swag, they have a good relationship. They can push each other. You know, just watching, sort of reminds me of me and, you know, my teammates back in the day where, you know, certain people that you can say stuff to you and you kind of look at them a certain way, but if Swag says something to Meat or Meat says something to Swag, it's kind of like, okay, all right, let me pick it up.
The two will push each other once again at 6:30. Don't miss it on DSN. Have a great night, Delmarva.
Ahead of Valentine's Day, DenRec is putting out dating profiles for most of Delaware's eligible bachelors. Let's take a look at some of these, shall we?
White-tailed deer, early riser, notices everything. And we got the horseshoe crab, old soul lunar-based calendar, likes long walks on the beach.
Delmarva fox squirrel, large, calm, and selective, enjoys routine and familiar places, low profile, but high standards.
I love these profiles. What's your favorite, Paul?
I think it was the squirrel because he looks like he was afraid of commitment, but he was peeking out the door just to say, is it okay or not? Okay, anyway, looks like he was going nuts. Sorry. Anyway, it was great. So Salisbury, let me just go ahead and get out of the forecast. My producer's saying, okay, wrap it up, Paul. Nancy, you're our winner for the umbrella. Be sure you call our weather line because we're keeping you updated no matter how nutty your day may be. And then here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Nice, regular for Wednesday. And for Valentine's Day, it's going to be warm as well. Cherry picked perfectly just for you all to enjoy your honey on that special day.
Looks great, Paul. Thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, for more of our local weather, go get that Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.